Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of FTSN's Cop Talk. The big talk today. We have got the big talk for you today, most definitely. So do remember, everybody, we are sponsored by Global Mapping Surveys. And for all the information on that, go to the 3Ws, globalmappingsurveys.com, and you can find out more information. Mention Cop Talk, and you'll definitely get yourselves a discount. So we're going to say good evening, Mr. Stoney, and how are we doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you very much. It's nice to be available earlier than we usually have a presented week. But yeah, looking forward to this evening show.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. And yourselves, Preds, how are we doing? Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, good evening. Listen, I couldn't wait, mate. I've been watching I'm Celebrity, and I watched a little bit of that, and now I'm ready to rock and roll because I was ready to talk Sunday. I was ready to talk on Sunday.
Woo! Yes, okay. So we are going to kick off with the big one first, though. Well, they're both big. First away win, and the mighty Reds being put up for sale. So, whew. All right. You know what? Let's respect the first away win. I must say.
Yeah.
Let's kick it off with the first away win. I reckon. Yeah. All right. Definitely. So, gentlemen, who did predict a win in that game? By the way, Stoney.
No, I didn't. I have to be honest. I think I predicted a draw. I thought it was going to be a 1-1 draw. Against my better judgment, we got the victory, which I was happy with. But yeah, going into the game, I said to myself it was going to be a 1-1 draw.
Okay, Preds, what did you predict?
I predicted the win.
Okay.
I predicted the win. I can't recall. Someone might. I wasn't on the show Thursday, to be fair. So, but I predicted the win. And I'm always going to back the boys. And you know what? The first half football was really good. And we could have and should have scored more. And the second half performance, even though we've conceded one, we had that passion and that grit to get that result. And I was so pleased with the boys.
Yes, me too. Okay, so good evening, Vinny. Very loyal supporter there, Mr. Vinny, Mr. VW man himself. Mr. Thought of the Day says, who's rattled this week? It might be Artie. And to my villain this week, it just might be. Good to have you, gentlemen, on board. And do remember to hit that like, that share, and that subscribe. So, gentlemen, let's talk about some performances then. Who is your star performers?
Stoney, after you, sir.
No, that's fine. So I thought going into this victory against Spurs, I thought it was quite interesting. We played the 4-3-1-2 with Bobby just behind Salah and Darwin Núñez. At one stage, it looked like we were actually playing a diamond, which I actually hadn't seen us play before. My man of the match would have been Mo. Obviously, he got 2 goals. One of the goals set up by Darwin Núñez. So my man of the match would have been Salah. Just before Preds or yourself comments, I thought it was quite interesting in the way that Tottenham set up for us today, because Perisic actually played up top with Harry Kane. So I think it was quite interesting in a way that Conte set up against us. But either way, my man of the match, the main question you asked was Salah, and he got the 2 goals, so I was happy with that.
Okay. And Preds?
Yeah, you know what? I'm in line to agree with Stoney. Salah, we're looking for we've been saying all season that we wanted our big players to step up, in these particular moments, and our big player stepped up. No matter how the goals came about, he's put them away comfortably and confidently, which is now all of a sudden centre halves are now thinking, hold on, hold on, Salah's so something's going on here. So I was so pleased with the victory, and just the manner in regards to, we had our luck, we rode our luck. I'm not going to be honest with that. We rode our luck at times, but we got, we buckled in and we got the result. So, yeah, pleasing result.
Okay. And Vinny says he was there on Sunday and the second half was torture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vinny says that we had a good 50 minutes, but was on the cosh for most of the second half. Okay. Good evening, Fanatic 1. And we're going to say big evening shouts goes out to Mr. Bingy B. Nice to have you on board, sir. So, yeah, I'm going to go back to that comment there. Yeah, I would say I would have to agree that, yeah, we did have a good first half. And, yeah, it looked like we was under pressure a lot in the second half. Definitely what you said, Stoney, the way that they set up, it was, someone called it an upside down Christmas tree, like 8 at the back. You know what I mean? It was crazy. And I know, and for me, I know that they've got injuries and whatever, but you're meant to be playing a Liverpool team that's meant to be a bit fragile and a leaking goals. Why are you not going at them and you're the home team? That's my fault. I'm in a bit of shock there, man. You've actually played into our hands now.
Yeah.
And done us a favour, to be fair.
Yeah. I think what was quite interesting about that game, though, offensively, Tottenham seemed to have a lot of defensive players and midfield players. And it was good that Vinny, he's obviously mentioned that he was there, obviously watching the game. But I think in terms of the second half, Tottenham didn't seem to really come to life until probably about 65, 70 minutes when Kulusevski and Doherty came on. Obviously, I know Kulusevski came on and he set up the chance with Harry Kane. But prior to that, even though you're saying Tottenham may have had the second half on us, I think it was only until those two changes around about the 68-minute mark that they actually came into the game. But you're right, the Tottenham setup was quite bizarre. I mean, even most of the players that they had on the bench was mainly defensive players and midfield players. So it was really strange. I mean, I'm happy we got the victory. I'm not going to try and nitpick anything, but yeah, Tottenham are a strange club at the moment.
I think we unsettled them quite early in regards to Robbo done the most underrated ball in football, which is just a long pass down the line over the fullbacks. And Darwin in the first 10 minutes, he got them turned all of a sudden. And they didn't really get time to settle. We didn't give them time to settle into a formation that they wasn't really used to that formation. And Tottenham had to, I think if their belief, I think, would be if we can get to half time 0-0 and then make those subs, we'll be in the game because we can change the subs because obviously Kulusevski, what's his name, Kulusevski? Obviously, obviously he's not fit enough to start the game, but he's fit enough to take part in some way. And I think Tottenham's idea was if we can hold Liverpool, and you know what Tottenham's like this season. First half not so good. Second half they just chucked the kitchen sink at it. So they've done everything we expected them to do. And like I said, we did ride our luck at times. But you got to remember, just before they scored, Mo Salah's had that chance in the box.
That's true.
Where he's got the ball squared to him, and I'm thinking, right, it's just a repeat of the first goal, touch and in, and he's just chosen to then hit it first time. And I thought, if we'd have got that, put that away, game done, game over. But Liverpool versus Spurs versus Liverpool is always an entertaining game. I'm always nervous when I go. I'm always nervous when we go to Tottenham.
But we haven't lost to them for a while, though. For some time, though.
No, but
we've done all right. We've done all right. They've been struggling to get victories against us. I'll tell you that much. Vinny says the team burn out quickly at the moment. It's hard to keep the levels of the pressure and the press. Very true. Good evening, Phil. Colonel, well done. Hey, welcome back, sir. Had you had a good time away? Nice to have you back and nice for you joining the show.
Just in answer to the previous question, we were struggling with the press. I think in the way that the game, we was an away team, and you would have to expect them to come at us, their home team. So you're going to have to expect them. And what was pleasing was that our distances defensively were really good. We was really tight and compact up until the goal. To be fair, if you're going to critique it, what's his name? Centre half, not VVD. Konate. Sorry, it's gone out of my mind. Now critique Konate should have been a lot closer to him. To Harry Kane, but like I said, Harry Kane's a world-class player, and he knows where the goal is. So, but it was really good, and Konate had a really, really good game.
I was just going to mention that as Vinny had brought that up as well. That second to Mr. Mo Salah, I'd say Kanate ran him a very close second. He was all over Harry Kane like a rash, mate. And I think that's the one time, as you just said, that he gave him a little bit too much space. And where if he was a bit closer, he would have probably been able to block that shot. To be fair,
yeah.
It was a good finish, to be fair. But I'm still disappointed that he scored from that angle, man. I'm still disappointed.
I think, but as a goalkeeper, from a goalkeeping point of view, if he's going to score, that's the only place he can score. Yeah. Going across you at angle, going across you, and he found the side netting like just before the post. So, you know, in all fairness, sometimes you just have to say, great finish.
Hands up, yeah. Vinny's saying the team were up for it and there was a camaraderie. Yeah, definitely. Robbo had a good game, but our middle is really struggling. So yeah, as you pointed out, Preds, Robbo putting some balls down the line, and Darwin Núñez getting them turned and having them on their back, on their heels for real. But yeah, our middle is really struggling. We don't have the legs, man. That's what it is. We just don't have the legs in there.
But what was quite interesting, as you were saying,
with Fabinho though in that game, Klopp spoke very highly of him.
Yeah, and I think it was a strange one as well, because obviously Tottenham would have played that 3-5-2 there, and I think if anybody in the comments, if I'm incorrect, then just update me. But I think they started with, was it Højbjerg, Basuma, and Bentancur in the middle of the
That's
park
right. Yep.
For Tottenham, yeah. But considering they had the three in there, they weren't really in control, and it was a strange one because they played with a three, but like a flat three. Yeah. It wasn't anybody who was holding and two like number 8 pushing up, or it wasn't like two were holding and one was pushing up. They were almost playing in a flat line, the three there, and I couldn't understand it. So I couldn't understand it. I was trying to look at the game and trying to think what Conte wanted to do with those three midfielders, and
they're just blockers, aren't they? The three midfielders, they're blockers. They're the ones who do all the dirty work.
Yeah.
And they've normally got the likes of Kulusevski in front of them, who they just go and do the dirty work, give the ball into him. None of them were actually white forwards who are going to go and penetrate the 18-yard box.
Okay, well said there, Preds, because I saw a report on that as well, and it's something else that I did notice, which is very true. So no Son and no Kulusevski to start the game. So what happens with Tottenham now is Harry Kane, as we all know, likes to drop deep and come and get the ball. And when he does that, though, he's got them two runners ahead of him, which causes problems. And they're both pretty quick as well. Yeah. So it causes problems. You haven't got either of them now. No one running on.
You've got no one in the box.
There's no one in the box. You've got one person. If Harry Kane comes deep, you've only got Perisic to worry about. He ain't got the legs either. So it made it light work for us, to be fair.
Yeah. Can we just mention what a great save from Ali from Perisic?
Yeah.
Like as the game was going on, people were saying, "Oh, he's missed the ball," but in actual fact, he's actually saved the ball and it's gone onto the post. It
was a big save. It was a big save. Mr. Thought of the day. We are definitely going to get to this once we've spoken about Tottenham. Yeah, 100%. Stick a pin. Stay there. We are definitely going to get to that. Yeah, definitely going to talk about the sell. Núñez is definitely a fan's favourite. Supporters were singing his name most of the match. All right, gentlemen, I'm also going to ask you, but Vinny, you was there, you saw it live. Tell me what you thought about his game in the comments, please. I really want to know what you saw live, because obviously it looks a lot different to us when we were on TV, watching it on TV. But Stoney, what did you think of Núñez's game?
I thought it was quite interesting as well. He occupied the left side of the forward, because what did we play? We played Salah and Núñez up top today. So, there's been games where Núñez has actually been up front by himself, but this time we played up front with two of them. I thought it was quite interesting actually, because he almost seemed to target they played the three at the back. So I think it would have been
Emerson Royal.
Emerson Royal would have been the right side of the five, but I think it was Dyer that played the right side of the centre back. They played three at the back.
Yeah.
So it seemed that Núñez targeted Dyer, and as much as he gained an advantage offensively on Dyer, apart from the opportunity where he squared it over to Salah, and Salah almost actually hit it at Lloris. Nunes had opportunities, but it was a strange one. I thought he probably could have gone for goal more, but he was passing more than he normally would have. So I wonder if that was a tactical thing or a positional thing, but he seemed to have a lot more space on Dyer, but I don't think he was able to actually maximize the opportunities he was able to create there. And as he said, that may have actually been a tactical thing. So he had an all right game. I still think he was playing at 100 miles an hour. I still think he was.
100%.
I still think he was snatching at opportunities. And even at this stage, what are we in November? You can still see that he's a player that has a lot of improvement, which is a plus point, but he still seems very, very, very raw. But look, he got the assist and we got the victory. So I suppose I'm possibly nitpicking.
No, not at all. Not at all. Prince, how did you see Nunes this game?
He was energetic. He was enthusiastic. Even the first couple of minutes, he's gone through and he's fearless. He just took a shot on. The angle weren't great, but he just took a shot on, which has made Lloris make a save. Stoney's absolutely right. He is still raw in regards to how a Liverpool footballer is. A player at Liverpool footballer should be in regards to his finesse and his touch and his awareness on the pitch and his composure. One good thing that he's worked on is that he's not offside as much, and his runs were. You can see now there's a little thing developing between Robertson and Darwin. There's a little something kind of festering there, a nice little link developing there. And I think that you're absolutely right. We did target Dyer because Royale, he's crap. And Royale was concerned with Robinson. Royale wasn't close enough to Robinson, and Royale was kind of like hit and miss. Do I go forward or do I not? And that indecision made Robinson's mind up in regards to so you know what, Darwin's 1-on-1 with Eric Dyer. Let's just feed it. Which pushed us up the pitch. Second half, you can see that he was getting tired. The game caught up with him. He was making. There was one time in the second half we could have went on the break and he took a really heavy touch and we lost the ball again. But I just think that's just naivety and tiredness. When you're tired in the height, you got to remember, like there was two teams going at it. And the tempo of the Premiership as well, So he done as much as he could have done, and Klopp, replaced him at the appropriate time. So yeah, I do believe he if he carries on with his that energy, and he can improve on the little details, and obviously score goals, I think he's definitely in the realms of being a fan's favourite.
100%. Well, for me, I prefer seeing him play down the middle. To be fair. For me, right now, as we talk about his finesse, his touch, and all that, he doesn't really have that to be playing out the wide side for me, because you need to have that down the middle, and the runs that he makes, he can get put in on goal quite a few times, to be honest. And I prefer to see him down the middle. And just as you said, gentlemen, Vinny's answered us, and he said, "Yep, what I'd say, he's raw, a handful, nuisance, linked up well with Salah."
Yeah.
So yeah.
But you know what you're saying about him playing down the middle, but it's quite good that versatility he's got where he can go on the outside and he can stretch teams on the outside. And if you think back,
if Jota and Diaz are fit, he ain't playing out wide.
No,
he ain't. But he's just filling a gap right now. He ain't playing out wide because you're not going to put Bobby out there.
Yeah, true.
So he's just filling a gap right now.
Yeah.
But Fanatic One says Nunes is going to come good. I think second half of the season he's going to be a huge problem.
100%. And I can only extend on what Artie's obviously mentioned as well. Thanks, Fanatic One, for tuning in. Fanatic One is an Aston Villa supporter.
Okay.
Well done, Villa.
Yeah, well done, Villa.
Well done. Yeah, I'm big
Well
time.
done.
I'm talking about a season Aston Villa historian. I think we are playing Aston Villa at home on the 20th of May. So that's going to be 7 days after Fanatic's birthday. So Fanatic, I know you're going to continue tuning into our show. Coming closer to the date, communicate with us. We'd love to have your knowledge and experience as an Aston Villa supporter on our show. So make sure you continue to keep in touch, and yeah, we'll welcome you when the day gets closer.
Okay. Vinny says, I'm very happy with how he's progressing.
Yeah. And so you know what? Sometimes, and some, you know, I mean, and sometimes, sometimes, just to get used to the pace and everything, it might be like the obvious example I can think of is when Thierry Henry came to Arsenal, and he was a striker, but they put him on the left wing type. You know what I mean, to learn the game and develop him. So probably second half of the season, when he needs to go down the middle, he might have a little bit more of a game awareness and positional awareness. Come second half of the season, and he will come good, no doubt.
Vinny agrees with you, Preds, and he says, yep, he was pairing well with Robbo. Vinny says, him, Salah, and Diaz will be a problem next season. And hold on a minute. I can't believe this guy showed his face. I can't believe he's in there commenting. Hey? I can't. No, hold on. Where's he gone? Hold on. I can't believe he showed his face, man. Mr. B, are you serious? Are you serious?
Oh, man, it's amazing.
Villa. And you come in here talking about Nunes, he's just like Lukaku. Right, listen, brother. Listen.
I love it.
Tell me what happened, mate. Hey? Villa. Come on, Sam. Come on.
God.
You made Villa look like Real Madrid, bro. Seriously. You didn't even score a goal. They had to score one for you. It was so boring.
Oh.
Fanatic One says you guys touched on it, but Konate has the credentials to be a complete centre back. Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
100%. And Vinny's saying maybe they got him on the wing to develop that finesse. Talking about Darwin.
Yeah.
So that is a good point.
And bearing in mind as well on that side, where was it we bought him from? Was it Porto that we bought him from?
No, not
Porto.
Benfica. Bearing in mind out there as well, even though we've actually played him centrally, he did actually play a large amount of games in the position that he currently is there as well, over on that left-hand flank as well.
Yeah.
So like anything else, it's just all part of that development of Darwin Nunes. And as he said, he's still young. He's got time on his side. And I'm confident we're going to see the best of him while he's currently playing for Liverpool.
Definitely. He's raw, man. He's going to develop, but you can see he's got the attributes to make it. And I like how he's trying. That's another thing that you have to see with certain players. Is the way he tries, his willingness to run and whatever, and his runs that he makes. Yeah, brilliant. I must say, brilliant.
Yeah, he
leads. He's not going to get no more than 10 goals max this season. I think he's already got about 6, isn't it?
He's already got five or six. In overall positions? No, I think at the moment, what has he got? He's played about, what have we got? Probably 9 goals. I think he's got 3 goals so far this season.
Yeah.
Nah, not just 3 goals.
I think he's got 3 goals, 5. You know. I think someone put it in the chat. I think
someone put it in the chat.
League-wise,
I know he got the one against Fulham.
Yeah.
Rangers.
So I'm probably thinking league-wise. We've played 9 league games, and I think he's got league-wise. I think he's only got 3 goals.
Yeah.
Someone put in the chat and just correct me, because I'm sure he's only got 3 league goals, but I could be completely incorrect.
He's got 2 league goals.
2, okay.
So he can play anywhere across the front 3 line positions.
Okay. Yeah, 2 league goals, but he's got. Oh, hold on. No, 3 league goals. You're right.
3. I was right, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 league goals, and I think he's got 3 Champions League goals.
Cool. All right.
So I'm not giving the kid a target. I don't even want to give the kid a target. I just want him to just go out, keep going, keep working, get his head down. You know what I mean? His work rate alone deserves a goal. You know, it's just whether he has that moment of grace to just, you know, take that chance.
Mr. B says 10, and Mr. Fanatic 1 says 15 minimum, he reckons.
Okay.
And he's saying minimum. Okay, Des B, good evening, and thank you very much for joining. Evening, chaps. He says, I think Nunes is eager to impress. He's still getting used to the team's ethics. Don't forget, he's in his first season.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, it's amazing.
I love it. I love it, this to me. I love it. I love it. I love it.
At least doesn't dampen their spirit.
I'll tell you what, mate. Nothing sweetened me more than United and Everton losing and us winning. Nothing could sweeten me more than a weekend, mate. I tell you, that was sweet. Considering he came from Portugal, I think he's adapted really well so far. Comparisons with Haaland have been unfair. I think the effects how people are seeing what he's doing so far, and I think that's a tremendous point because they both come over at the same time. Everybody's and they both come to big clubs. You know, the big clubs, Mr. B, in the league, the ones that you know, the big boys. I think that is a point. Everybody's going to compare the two of them. Big signings, two big clubs who are battling out. So obviously they're going to say, right, they've both signed big strikers. Who's doing the best and whatever, and they're comparing. Not realizing that Haaland is a few years ahead in his development than Darwin, for me. That's how I see it.
I mean, yeah, you can't get away from comparisons. People are going to comparison all players. It's just down to Darwin. You know, Darwin just needs to, you know, carry on and improve, keep it improving, keep developing. Because I've seen it every game, every live game where we've seen it be on TV anyway. You can see that there's been development. There's been, you know, he's tidying up in his touch, his runs, his timing. So, you know, Klopp improves players. We know that. And you know, I'm just expected Darwin to continue improving.
Stoney, question for you.
Yeah.
Answer this one. Mr. Thought of the Day says, I think we got to take on board. If he came last year, he would be flying. He has come into a team who have dropped down a level or two and still done a thing. What do you say to that, Stoney?
And I'm trying to recall, did Darwin Nunes actually have a pre-season with us?
Yeah.
He did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He did very well in pre-season, actually.
Okay. I think price tag aside, you're right. It's about him obviously adapting to a completely different league, a completely different way of playing. And I just go back to what I was saying previously in the show. Time's on his side. I don't think there's a rush. I think people will probably look at the price tag and say he probably should be doing more. But sometimes that level of impatience doesn't always help the progress of a player. And as a club at our level as well, I think he's actually in a good place. So yeah, I've got no concerns with Darwin Nunes, none at all.
Okay, so right, gentlemen, before we move on quickly, Trent Watch. You know we can't leave out Trent. We can't leave him out. He's under the scrutiny, especially with the World Cup coming up, because obviously, you know, is he going to get that spot? Is he not? How would you rate his performance on Sunday?
It's a bit of Jekyll and Hyde kind of performance. You know, some areas, some bits he does really well. I'm really good that his reaction is actually got better. But then you've got that time. People are saying, was it a penalty? Wasn't it a penalty? You know, I'm a Liverpool supporter. I'm obviously going to say it wasn't a penalty. But then if you see the penalty was given previous day, you know, it was more or less on the same lines. So yeah, still areas of improvement. And he will get better. We've got to remember he's 24, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's 20, you know, he's 24 and he's done quite a lot in a short space of time. And, you know, there's going to be times when, you know, he's still developing. So yeah, I wouldn't have any other right back for Liverpool at this time moment. So we're just going to have to take the performances and hope that, you know, come second half of the season, he can put it together.
Okay. What did you make of him, Stoney?
I think it was quite interesting, and this was a strange game probably to be able to have an assessment on how Trent played. On his side, he would probably have been, was it Sessegnon was over on the left side of the midfield up against Trent over on that side. So Trent would have had protection from Harvey Elliott over that side, and we know Ibrahim is quite mobile, coming back to match fitness, and I also think Ibrahim had a really good game as well there. But over on that side, if you think we would have had Sessegnon and Perisic over on that side, tactically, Perisic is a very good player.
Oh yeah.
However, I don't recall him actually playing such an advanced position for his national team or either at Inter Milan. So I'm not too sure whether Perisic was ever really going to cause Trent any problems over on that side. I think Sessegnon did actually play quite advanced, but I think Trent was able to actually play within himself. Defensively, I thought the partnership between Trent and Elliott worked really well on that side. So I don't know. For me, I'm being honest, I thought it was quite hard for me to actually make an assessment to how he played. He actually seemed to play within himself. So I'd have given him a 7 for that game anyway, but I don't think it was any threat in that game.
Mr. B saying, I've got a space on Friday night takeaway end of the season chat about your Europa League qualification. Here we go.
Well, we've still got Champions League. We've still got Champions League on our mind, so we wouldn't.
Why would you want to talk about win it? If we win it,
better than Jack.
Yeah. Okay. True. So, I think Vinny's put it brilliantly. Yeah, Trent is in a funny place. Defense was questionable, but some of his passing was on another planet. And to put it quite simply about Trent, he had a Marmite game.
Oh, did you see that? Did you see that ball he done first one touch? Diag.
Listen,
like I've got to be honest. Like it's this big debate about Trent, right? Me personally, I wouldn't have any other first player at right back at the moment. I would rather have him going through his peaks and troughs, right? Knowing that what he has got to offer, and I think he's now having to mature his game, and he now has to realise, right, you know what, I'm gonna really have to work harder.
I can't be gung ho. That's right.
Yeah, he's got to work harder on his positional play and his reaction to transition, because his reaction to transition, even to the point, what was it, last couple of minutes, where the ball's come in, and we've got the ball, and Trent's bombed off, and we've lost the ball, and all of a sudden, we the right side's exposed. And when you said about Perisic not being too much of I think Perisic was very clever. I think he was a menace to Trent, and I think Trent rather played against Sessegnon than Perisic. Perisic is a seasoned pro. He's clever. His movement, his quality, and I think, Trent kind of, it was about 50-50 with Trent. I was thinking to myself, please, please. Because Perisic is a clever guy, but he come through it. Fair play.
Mr. Thought of the day. You need to hold that thought there. Yeah, I'm not impressed. Man saying I won't mind taking Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, listen. Hey, and building a midfield around Trent.
That's interesting.
Wan-Bissaka is coming nowhere near.
I don't even think he's actually featured for Manchester United. Really, has
exactly.
I wouldn't take him anyway.
No way.
I would no way.
I don't know what thought you had today, but that one wasn't it. Yeah. Wan-Bissaka was not him.
It's good to put ideas out there.
Yeah,
it's good to put the ideas out there, and everyone's having their opinion. And to be fair, I've said it in the past about Trent maybe possibility going into the midfield. Don't agree.
I've said it too. I've said it as well.
Yeah. Don't agree with the Wan-Bissaka comment.
I believe look, his perfect position for me would be wing back. That would be his perfect position, wing back. Mr. B wants to get rid of Bissaka. I think he's a player.
Manchester United paid a lot of money for Wan-Bissaka. I'm not too sure in terms of being able to get any form of that price tag back. I think that would be quite hard. They might have to write that money off, unfortunately.
Mate, good luck to him. I don't care.
Good
luck to him.
good. Desby says Trent was steady, but I think he was lucky with the penalty. It's almost impossible to be a brilliant attacker and defender. So take the rough with the smooth.
True.
Okay. Oh, here he comes now. He's had another thought of the day. All right back. You get my point. Yeah. Just don't be mentioning names like Wan-Bissaka, yeah? Or else I'm going to have to put you in the same bracket as Mr. R&B. And he starts talking about JWP, yeah?
Who, the Panto, the villain?
Yeah. Even Mr. C,
Panto
even
villain.
Bingy B agrees. Bissaka can stay at Old Deadford. Damn right. See out your contract, bro. Make them pay your money. Come nowhere near my club. Nowhere near. He's worth about £7 now. Yo, listen, I'm gonna want change if I give him £7. I want change. Right, gentlemen, we are gonna move on from the Tottenham game. First away win. Well done, my boys.
Yeah.
Keep it rolling. We're gonna move on to the big news in news now in the highlights that the headlines are Liverpool being put up for sale. So on Monday afternoon, FSG confirmed in a statement that they are now prepared to sell their controlling stake in Liverpool. Okay. So how are we feeling about this, gentlemen? How are we feeling about this?
Slightly confused.
Go on, Prince.
I'm slightly confused because, there was this thing about, this big thing come out about Liverpool being put up to sell, and then FSG's then come out with a statement then saying, well, no, we're not going for sale. We're just looking for, we would consider a shareholder who's good for Liverpool. So are we really up for sale, or are we just looking for another majority shareholder? That's like the press is saying one thing, FSG is saying the other. In all, to be fair, I think we have to be steady and think back. And I can say two names: Hicks and Gillett.
Don't swear on the screen, bro.
Right there. I think we've just got to slow our roll at the moment, because this has come out from nowhere, where it's a random, where clubs get asked about, their ownership of clubs, and I don't know what's happened. Something's happened. It's all come out. I'm gonna be rose tinted and say, right, I'm going to look at the FSG statement and I'm going to look at it and say, well, we're not up for sale. We're just looking for shareholder people to put money into the club.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying a bit confused. Are we up for sale, or are we just looking for money?
Stoney.
Yeah, I'm probably similar to Preds as well. I think for me, I'm actually just trying to digest the information and watch this space. I think what I've taken from it is I can see FSG remaining. I think they're looking for somebody else to come and join the project to raise more funds. So at the moment, I think they're trying to get a valuation of the club, seeing what we're worth, and then that will allow whoever that is to actually come in to allow us to have a little bit more purchasing power. That's what I've made from it. I can be completely incorrect, but that's what I've made from it so far.
Okay, so they're saying that the news is that investment banks Goldman and Sachs and Morgan and Stanley have been enlisted by FSG to assist in the process of finding a party who would either be prepared to pump money for a percentage or buy Liverpool outright. So this is what they're saying.
Who said that? Is that a statement from the club, from FSG, or is that a statement?
I can't tell you where I get my sources, or I'd have to. There'll be no more Preds on Cop Talk.
Oh my days!
Yeah.
Okay. I'm loving that, bro. I'm loving that. Next time it's got to be a confirm or neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. So what they're saying, what the next one I'm going to ask you lot is, all right, hold on. Before I ask that next question, Mr. B is saying, I reckon they're going to get a price and set a percentage at a fixed price investment. Colonel is saying FSG need to come out and say if they want shareholders or we are for sale. Vinny, I think they're ready to offload for the right price. Okay, so why now, gentlemen? Why now?
Something in the background is happening which we're not quite aware of, and someone's obviously, whispers around, and it's hard to kind of say why now. It's kind of confusing. Is it a situation where, as FSG has said, it's normally a question asked by the Premiership or the powers that be in relation to the ownership? Do we believe that narrative? Or do we believe the narrative of, okay, well, they're actually looking for either investment, or they're trying to test the market? And if they are trying to test the market, again, it's just a weird time to do it. And it could actually become quite destabilizing for as a team, because it funnels down. Everything that goes at the top, always in any company, funnels down. And where we're just kind of just turning a corner slightly, all of a sudden, bam, this big announcement. And I'm a bit confused as to why now.
You got any takes on that, Stoney, on why now?
I think the fact that part of the statement was saying that they've obviously been communicating with Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs gives me the impression that FSG have probably been communicating for a period of time. Like anything else, as he said, it may be that they're looking at the valuation of the club. It may be that with the Super League not actually happening, and then probably looking at how much revenue could have been generated from that they're looking at other options as well. It could be also them probably looking at them obviously realizing it. Look how much the club has actually done in terms of our financial constraints compared to Man City, Chelsea, and if we probably look at the new investment of Newcastle, right? So if we now want to make the transition to the next stage, what is it the club actually need to be able to do? We've invested in the stadium, but on the pitch, it's clear, we've all said it. I think it's clear out to see financially we need another investment. And that's probably what they're probably looking at to support us to get to that next level as well. So they're probably looking at all of those options there as well. Part of it we were saying that our club's in a position of transition. It's clear that we've got a lot of players at the end of the season that will be moving on. Where is that finance going to be coming from if we can't get that from any of those players are actually being sold? So I think FSG have probably looked at it saying they want to remain at the helm. They're looking at additional, people to come and support us. And they're just trying to get an evaluation of the club and see where we can be, especially if the one thing that we've mentioned on previous shows, if we're going to be looking to purchase, as an example, Jude Bellingham, where on earth is that money going to come from? Where's it going to come from?
Very true. Okay. So on that point there, I'm going back to my secret sauce, Preds, yeah? So
Okay.
I reckon that the answers are two-pronged on both the Super League and also market value. So FSG will have seen with the 4.25 billion sale of Chelsea this year. So taking the financial line before looking at the failed Super League, FSG have seen their investment absolutely explode since they bought it for 300 million back in 2011. So given Forbes valued the club at 3.6 billion back in May, they aren't wrong. So Liverpool are one of the most storied teams in world football and will be able to realistically push for a sale close to or above 4 billion, which was what Chelsea was sold for. And that goes on with Mr. B asking Vinny, what does he reckon the asking price would be? And Vinny saying 5 billion. Vinny says, I don't think anyone with significant financial clout will want to just have a piece of the pie. Mr. B sounds shocked that it's so high. And Vinny's saying they know they can't financially compete. and they reckon it's time to cash in. Bingy says, I want them to sell the club, not shares. Don't want another Arsenal scenario. Too many shareholders could mean too many people wanting a say on all matters. And as President said earlier, things then funnel down. Very true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just quickly before we move on, it's like I've read from sources. I have sources too, you know, really.
Yeah, listen, ketchup and barbecue sauce don't count, bro.
I love that. That's a little clip later on. That is. But I read somewhere where like FSG lent money against the club to then go and purchase is it a ice hockey team franchise in the States, and that's why I'm confused as to well, if they've borrowed against the club to finance a takeover of a franchise in the States, then again, why would it be a case of them now wanting to sell? And there's so many different stories. It's like, okay, where do we just want clarity as supporters? We want clarity from FSG. Me personally, my opinion, I think FSG's done an absolutely amazing job since they come in respect of building the club, building the team with the structure that they put in place. It wasn't up to everyone's liking, but we said it. I think you guys said it on Thursday. We ain't gone out and bought big players. We've gone out and bought players and improved them. And they've got a coach who's come in and who's been able to improve players. And off the pitch, they've made our name, Liverpool, our brand, bigger. And they've made mistakes along the way, like every owner does. But me personally, I wish for FSG to stay as long as possible. But we all know it's a money game, it's a numbers game, and if they haven't got enough money to compete against the likes of the Man Cities of this world, then they've got to be very. I hope they have fans in mind as well as the club in making sure that the person, if they do sell, make sure they sell to the right bidder who's going to do good for the club.
So Desby says, I think if they get the right price, they will sell the whole club. But if they can get a decent offer from a minority stake, they will take that also. Okay, so what they're saying is also, here comes my source again. They've seen the rest of us, where Todd Bodie and Clay Lake Capital paid to get Chelsea from Roman Abramovich. So could a 10% stake stock sale lead to near £400 million being invested in the club? Now, if that 400 million was invested in the club, they're saying that Klopp could get the majority of that, but he won't get the whole 400 million to then invest into the squad. So obviously that's 10% of your 4 billion. That's 400 million. That's still that, because obviously, and that's what they're saying, that they're looking at star names like Jude Bellingham, whatever. You need to have the paper. You need to have the paper to back it. And for me, what you said, Fred, yeah, I'd like them to stay. They've done a good job and whatever, but they're not going to take us to that level of competing for them big players. That's the issue. That's the issue I'm going to have.
Well, I think. Sorry, Sloane, before you go, I just think that, is it a case of they're not willing to adapt their philosophy in regards to, it's a bit of a moneyball philosophy in regards to the players that we get, and we look to develop players rather than getting big players in. Are they now? Is it a case of, right, it's decision time? Do we now go to the next level? If we have to go to the next level, we have to go and purchase these sort of players, or are they showing a lack of progression and say, right, this is our product, this is our model, we're keeping it?
Stoney.
Yeah. Just basically to say what Preds was saying as well, as you said, it's all of these financials, and hopefully at some stage we'll be able to get a statement in layman's terms of what FSG are looking to do, because what they own Boston Red Sox, isn't it?
That's correct.
They've got television networks. They're part of the Ross Fenway Racing Group as well, and part of the Fenway management team. I think FSG had actually sold a percentage stake to Redbird Capital, who actually own AC Milan and a percentage of Toulouse at the moment. So the bigger picture of the Fenway management finance is actually there. And if you look at the bigger picture, and it's something that we've spoken about, even if you think of this particular season, all right, our club in terms of finance is actually being managed very, very, very well to any
Tremendously well.
potential suitors. I think for this season, I think we're only 14 million pounds in debt. 14 million pounds. I'm talking in football terms. In football terms,
Yeah.
that's nothing. That is an academy player's signing on fee. So in football terms, that's absolutely nothing. So for any potential suitors, or for Goldman Sachs, or for Morgan Stanley looking at the potential of our club, that's massive. We're still potentially growing our stadium. And if you think of what's also happening within the city's still being developed, and that's excluding what Everton are obviously doing to help to develop the city as well. So if you look at all of those bigger pictures, Liverpool within itself is a massive asset. So how that materializes, hopefully that will only benefit us. I know there's a few questions Artie's going to ask us later, so I'm not going to extend on it now, but it'd be interesting to see how that obviously benefits us as a club.
All right, Bingy makes a point here, which is something that I kind of agree on as well, and something that Stoney was saying as well. We are in a very healthy position financially. Believe that they've made money. Vinny's saying, I think they can, Vinny. They just don't want to invest their own money in our club. They've made money, and they are businessmen. They are first and foremost businessmen. So for them, it's a business. They've seen a good opportunity. They've come in. They've run the club well. They have invested in the club, but for the club to make more money again. Do you understand? And this is where they're at. And I think that they're gonna go there. They've got a level. They've got a ceiling point for me, and that's it. They're not breaking that ceiling point because they are businessmen. And that's what they're looking at.
And that is the key point, and something that we've actually mentioned before, right? Even though I am not comparing us to what Mike Ashley did at Newcastle, Mike Ashley purchased Newcastle. Obviously, he was a fan of Newcastle. He's from that part of the country, but he based that on financial terms, right? So as much as Mike Ashley was the ownership of Newcastle, when they left, they were not heavily in debt, you know. He actually run that club very, very, very well. So even if you think of FSG at the moment, we're part of the Redbird Capital, right? And their main thing is actually purchasing assets based on data principles, right? So if you think of it in terms of football, any owner out there is clear to see you cannot make money in football. So part of the Redbird Capital, when they're purchasing assets through data principles, it's about how can they exploit any of those data efficiencies. And that's what I was going back to saying before. Look what Klopp and FSG has actually done over the period of time that they've actually been there. We've actually punched above our weight, you know.
Massively.
We've won every possible trophy there could possibly be with Klopp and FSG during the period of time that's there, and not have that revenue of Man City or Chelsea or the latter of Manchester United. We've punched above our weight.
So what you're saying, because like, listen, I love all the business talk, right? I'm a football supporter, all right? And I want to know, it's all about the football, and it's all about, you know, putting the football on the turf and let them play, all right? But in layman terms, are you saying like that in regards to their business model and their objective was they've hit their objectives quite early?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, 100%.
I believe so.
100%.
I believe so.
And now they're looking to now maximize that by then saying, okay, because 300 million, they bought it for 300 million, and now they've been quoted at 5 billion. I'm thinking, I'm a mere football supporter, and I'm doing the sums in my head. I'm thinking, okay.
And even if you think of it like this, Preds, right? With that, what they've purchased and what the possible valuation from the club will be. So as you said, 300 mil, say for instance they purchase it, and we'll just give an example. It may well be worth 4 billion right now. What have they done? They've redeveloped the stadium.
Sorry, before you go to so just to help you out, 150 million invested in like the stadium and all that part as well, yeah? 150 mil.
Brilliant. All right. So they've done that stadium development. We've purchased players that are developing players because we haven't bought any prime players. We've purchased them developed, and some of them we've actually sold on for amazing value. Right. So if you think of it like that, they've made money and our club is still not in debt. They've brought in, is it AXA, which is one of our main sponsorships?
Yep.
Look at the
AXA
amount of
training
money
ground.
that AXA brought in. We had New Balance, which was paying us a king's ransom, and then the volume of our club rose so high that we decided to move over away from New Balance to come to Nike. That wasn't paying as much as New Balance. So that goes back to what I was saying. In a sense, our value and our stock is very, very, very high. And you're right. It may be that they're saying, let's put the feelers out. Let's see how much we're valued at. It's either we sell or we ask somebody to come and support us with this journey to take Liverpool and catapult us to that next level. And that's what I think FSG are possibly trying to do.
Fanatic One says, I think it's because this season they have realised if they don't pump big funds into a club, they may fall behind very quickly. 100%.
Their philosophy can only go so much because we know how much football, how much money is in the Premiership and in regards to progression. And if you cannot afford to stand still for a second, especially when you're looking to achieve. I'd say people are saying we always need to achieve top 4. We need to achieve top 1. That's what we're striving for to win the league.
Yeah.
And if, like I said, it's now they're at a crossroad. Do we pump more money in, or do we stay with our philosophy, stay with our process, and say, right, you know what, it's you know what, we've had a good ride, we've more than made our money, let's move on. But either way, as football supporters, we need some sort of clarity. What the hell is going on with Liverpool Football Club? And something, I'm going to be controversial, something in the lines must be happening in the background, something, because, you know, our director of football left, who was very successful for us. How do we let go somebody who's so successful and brought in the players that he did, and he was part of that reconstruction of the internal part of Liverpool FC? You know, why was he allowed to leave? And now he's possibly going to Chelsea. Like, you know, I just want clarity. I'm a football supporter. I just want my team to do well and my team to compete and continue. I'm greedy. You know, they've made me greedy in respect of what we've achieved in the last five years. Right, the glory days are back. I want us to continue that. You know, so
I think as well. Talking about the investment, should they, shouldn't they, whatever. I think that they've also saw, as businessmen, they've seen Liverpool match Man City on certain levels and not have the same spending power. So what they're looking at now is money doesn't guarantee success.
They've proven this.
If we can do it like that, what does it mean if I pump money into this club? Are they going to guarantee me success? Because it didn't for Man City. We was able to challenge them.
I think you hit the nail really on the head there in regards to they've taken great plaudits in fact of we've competed with arguably, you know, richest club in the UK, all right, and we've matched them, but we haven't spent as much as them, you know, and I think they've taken the plaudits, fantastic, brilliant, right? How are we going to maintain that now? It's about maintaining that, you know.
Exactly. And as Vinny says here, I hear what you're saying, Biggie, but he says they want the success and profit with minimal loss. And he says he can't blame, which is true. That's like I said, they're business people.
Yeah,
so that's how they're going to look on it. And they reckon that Vinny reckons a buyer is already around.
Okay.
I think he says that business model is dead now. The rest of the top 6 are more or less caught up to us. They need to set. Bingy's just straight. He's not having none of it. He's not having none of it.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you, Bingy. I totally agree with you, mate.
Bingy just wants them to sell up to the highest bidder. Yeah. Desby says they turned down 3 billion last year. So using Chelsea as a barometer, they will be looking at around 4 billion.
4 billion. And that's quite big. I mean, even as assets are bigger, even if you think of what, so 4 billion. I think someone mentioned something prior to that about 5 billion. If you think of it, if you think of if you think of sporting clubs globally, right? Sporting clubs globally, that 5 billion, you're probably looking at someone like the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sure they whatever they're worth is probably about 5.7 billion. Dallas Cowboys. Is that
They
the
are
level that we're talking
they
at
are
Liverpool are at globally?
They are
That's a
massive.
beast. That's a lot of money.
Vinny's saying, funny enough, Preds, the Washington Redskins is up for sale as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
There seems to be this pattern, and the pattern's been occurring, and I've been watching it, where you've got American investors are now coming to the UK. They're investing in and buying these clubs here in the UK as part of a model as well. Even to the point where Leyton Orient are owned by Americans. So they're coming over. It's definitely a pattern that's occurring, and like I said, the reports are that they're looking to buy some sort of franchise back in the States. So, again, they're looking for investment, but there was, again, I just hope whatever they do in their business sense, just make sure it doesn't affect Liverpool Football Club and the players and their performances and everything like that. Please don't.
FSG have been excellent custodians, brought the club into the 21st century. Good evening, Mr. Solo. Nice to have you on board, sir. Vinny's saying you need the paper every window, at least 150 million available, even if you don't spend it. Klopp beliefs, I think, indirectly will have an impact on who's chosen as an investor or a buyer. Okay, so let's get to that question now, gentlemen. Let me go back to my sources again. See what's going on here. Right.
Bring some
Do we know of any interested bidders? So, first one we're going to talk about is Harriet Blitzer Sports and Entertainment, Sir Martin Broughton. US billionaires David Blitzer and Josh Harris both own 18% of Crystal Palace, but were part of the race to acquire Chelsea earlier this year. A move that, if was successful, they would have had to cut ties with Palace, obviously due to a conflict of interest. They own Philadelphia 76ers, the NBA team, and New Jersey Devils, the NHL team, the ice hockey team. They've been speaking to at a sports conference, and they are very interested in something about doing some business about Liverpool. The Ricketts family investment group, another to have been running for the ownership of Chelsea, the owners of the Chicago Cubs, Tom and Laura Ricketts, both had backing in their bid for the London club from UN's finance giants, Ken Griffin and Dan Gilbert. So they attempted to acquire Chelsea from former owner Roman Abramovich in 2018, and have continued interest in acquiring a Premier League team. The Ricketts family have a net worth of around 5 billion. Stephen Paliuka and partners, another Bostonian. He owns both the Boston Celtics NBA team and Italian Serie A side Atalanta. So he's also interested. Who else do we have?
But are we up for sale?
Also interest from the Middle East as well. He's someone who's cousin to Sheikh Mansour. He's back interested again. He was interested previously, and he's also back interested again. Previously, he had a failed bid of 2 billion a few years ago, but his interest is back on the table. So, gentlemen, if any of those, would you be interested in any of those taking over? Do you see any of those of having sport at the forefront or just business? Because what someone did say about like Sheikh Mansour's cousin is that these guys just seem to buy it as a toy thing, it's a plaything, just something to be lauded about. It's not really serious for them.
You know what? The list you ran, the list you was talking about from your source. I don't know who they are. You got
you know about the Ricketts family?
Well, I heard about the Ricketts family, yeah, but like I've heard about the Ricketts family, but I'm not going in depth as to what if they haven't it affected me in some shape or form in my life, unless I'm reading about him. I wouldn't know diddly squat about him. All I want to know is that, clarification from SSG. Are we up for sale? Yes or no? And if we are up for sale, right, these people want to come and buy Liverpool. What's their motive? What's their MO? What's their, what do they want to do with the club? Because the club is self-running. FSG has made it a self-sufficient club in regards to the infrastructure. So what are they going to come into the club? Are they going to invest in the team? Are they going to keep making sure that Liverpool keeps growing globally? And making sure that the supporters keep enjoying success on the pitch.
Stoney.
Well, I think my main concern is that I was on hold for HSBC for an hour today on the customer service. I was trying to get an overdraft, but I think they declined my offer. I think that was my main concern. I was looking to try and get in on the bid.
You're lucky it was only an hour. Oh, HSBC, go on. Yeah, I like that.
I think Prince would say the same thing. I think, you know what? We'll wait to get the statement for FSG because they may just be getting the feelers out. And I think that my biggest concern is whoever's going to invest in the club, whoever's going to purchase it, whether they are purchasing it for FSG, that they've actually got Liverpool at heart and what we actually deserve as a club and as a city as well. And I think that's my biggest thing. We can probably get all of the riches in the world, and then it means that Klopp leaves, and then they completely remove all of the DNA and what we've been attempting to try and build over these years, and everything goes left. So for now, I just want to sit on the fence, try to get as much correct information and not be misled with any information, and hopefully you get the correct statements from FSG, and then we can try and make a more realistic and rational assessment from there. I think that's where I'm at.
Brilliant. Okay, well said. FSG have made deals and brought in money from investors, but we haven't seen the benefits from that with players coming in. Billy says Mike Ashley from Slough. Iggy says they've done an excellent job thus far, but they've taken the club as far as they're willing to go. So in my opinion, it's time to cut ties. Thanks for the success and the memories, but it's time to go. Vinny wants them.
Bingy, you've taken over as the pantomime. Yeah, he's taken over as the pantomime villain, isn't he?
But as Vinny says, as Stoney said, he made them solvent and attractive purchase, but the fans had to suffer for years whilst he was doing that work.
Okay, so let's talk about Mike Ashley.
Yeah, Mike Ashley, yeah.
Right.
Desby says we are already a developed club. 250 million will improve the team to a level to compete with Man City. My biggest fear is we sell and Klopp leaves.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was saying as well.
Yep, 100%. Could be right, Stoney. Cowboys, Yankees, United, Madrid, NFC are the iconic brands.
Thank you. So, yeah.
But remember, FSG got in trouble a little bit because they tried to trademark Liverpool Football Club, didn't they? Which they were unable to do. But it's a brand. They're looking to corner the brand, and they can see Liverpool Football Club brand globally. Has massive since it was huge. It was huge anyway. But then all of a sudden, we've Klopp's come in, and we were able to win trophies along the way. All the big trophies in club football. So it's just gone to another level off the pitch, and I'm so happy that happens. Now it's about can we now transfer that onto the pitch? Can we now compete with? It's not all about spending, and we know about that. But can we get these players in that we supporters are screaming for? Like last season, we were screaming for centre half. This season, we're screaming for a midfielder. Why can't the powers that be see that with inside and get those players in, those younger players in, give them a season under their belts, and then next season when the older players like Milner, not picking on Milner, like Fabinho, who seems like he's lost his legs a little bit, get those players in. we haven't been doing it, and I don't understand why we haven't done it.
Working on a budget, mate. Working on a budget. Worldwide brand, maybe only United, Madrid, and Yankees are bigger in terms of global brand recognition. I think the executives move around a bit, to be fair. And Mr. Thought of the Day says City only had a few players every year. We just didn't do the same, and now we're feeling it. Yep, I hear that.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Also, as I said earlier, what about January transfers for now? Yeah. So that is a good point. Are we, the state we're in now, in this limbo, are we going to have any January transfers?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, mate. Go ahead. I was just breathing.
I think the World Cup's going to have a massive impact on that, because if you think that the World Cup's going to think, is it going to be around, when do the Premiership games resume? Is it around the 26th of December?
Yeah.
So I think this transfer window around January is going to be quite interesting, because we're really going to have players that are coming back from the World Cup. What condition are they going to be in? We'll play devil's advocate, all right? Say, for instance, we were looking at an English player and England won the World Cup. How are those players going to be able to adapt so quickly back to the Premiership come January? What impact is that actually going to have? What impact is that going to have on that player's evaluation as well, if we're already going to be looking at him? So I think this season's already quite strange with having the season split to do the World Cup. So for me, I think January purchases are going to be crazy. I can't see us purchasing anybody in January.
Okay. Ooh. Fred, do you think we'll do any business in January?
Well, when you're just doing cooking dinner and everything, you're just kind of dawdling on your phone and you're just looking at the transfer news. You don't want to get sucked in with the transfer news because it's all tittle-tale, don't you? But you get sucked in, and then you see one, and then you go into another link. And then I saw a link where it says, will FSG present LFC with a leaving present and get Jude Bellingham in the transfer January window before they sell up? And I thought, ooh, well.
Did you burn the dinner?
just so you know, some items are a little bit overcooked, but but yeah, it was like, well, I agree with Stoney. I don't see us going out and getting someone unless it's Jude Bellingham. I'm just believing all the news now and all the rumours that we've got a little bit of an advantage ahead of Real Madrid and the likes of Man United and Chelsea, where the point is Chelsea have now saying that they're not considering Jude Bellingham. I don't know whether that's true or not, but if we're going to act on Jude Bellingham, I think we have to act. And if there's a possibility that we can get him in January, then we have to jump on it. Whether that situation will happen, who knows, mate? Who knows?
Vinny says, Prince of Dubai. Yeah. Love some of that, mate. All these guys don't have enough billions. Man said we need Elon Musk, or just
no.
Nowhere near my club, thanks, mate.
Mm-mm.
Nowhere near. Vinny agrees with my concerns exactly, Stoney. Whoever buys Liverpool, their first thing is to make sure Klopp stays.
Yeah.
Lee Stoney, let's put it out there. Stoney said about devil's advocate. Say we do sell, right? And they give Klopp, I don't know what, 200 million. Who do you want to see?
Well, we all know Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
That's number one. Get Jude Bellingham. I think we need two central midfielders, to be honest. Jude Bellingham can't do it by himself.
No.
I want to if we get all that money, I want to get Fred and Scott McTominay.
Wait, hold on.
We'll get a discount on them.
Say that again? You want who?
I want Fred and Scott McTominay. That's what I want.
You know what? Now, all is forgiven, Fabrice. All is forgiven, mate. Ward Prowse all day long. Come back, bruv.
Fabrice, come back, man.
Ward Prowse all day long now, mate.
And Scott McTominay, you know. And we might even have changed. We might even have changed to get JWP.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh,
mate, Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, mate. Get Declan Rice in.
Okay. All right. Well, gonna go on quickly from my sources again before we wrap it up, gentlemen. So, talking about transfers. So a Spanish outlet is claiming that Atletico Madrid could sell midfielder Marcos Llorente after Diego Simeone's men failed to qualify for the Champions League round of 16. The report claims that Jurgen Klopp has asked Liverpool to make a financial effort to bring the Spanish international if he was to be sold. Also, Tyler Adams could be tipped for Liverpool as well. US soccer legend believes that Tyler Adams would be a good fit for Liverpool. Liverpool would be a good fit. It would be a good fit for everybody. The understanding how to play in that dangerous style of play wouldn't take long at all. He reads the game well. He never stops running. He's a fantastic leader. It's not about freaking out or getting emotional. It always seems to be very methodical with this guy, and I really like that.
Who's that guy? So who's that?
Tyler Adams.
Is that the one that leads, is it?
That's the one. That's the one. And there's also talk of, as we've just mentioned, Declan Rice. Would we be game for Declan Rice? But I just think as well, though, his P's would be astronomical now.
Yeah, crazy. I think for that price for Declan Rice, and he is a good player. And all jokes aside, I know I've mentioned it at the beginning of this season, and I know I mentioned it on a lot of our shows for last season. I think it's clear that we need our midfielders, and if we're talking about players in addition to Jude Bellingham, this is my opinion. I would still love for us to go back in for Rodrigo de Paul at Atletico Madrid, who was at Udinese captain. I spoke quite highly of him.
I remember.
And I also think that Paulinho at Fulham has had a really good season as well. So them two midfielders in all realistic time frames, how they've actually played, how I think they can actually make the transition to actually strengthen our midfield. Those two midfielders would be a blessing for us.
Well, Stoney, just as you mentioned that, actually, my next point was going to be that they're saying that we could hold on and look for some players who are a bit cheaper and a bit closer to home currently. Talking about Brighton's holding mids are unbelievable. They've conceded less goals than third place Spurs. McAllister, Tyler Adams, obviously of Leeds, and João Paulinho.
Yeah,
a couple of names that's come up. That's been mentioned.
He is a player. I'm telling you,
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. No, he's definitely outstanding.
Yeah,
he's definitely standing out for them. Where was he before? Paulinho.
I'm not sure.
He's Portuguese, but he's come in and I think he's done really, really well. And you know, if Liverpool do go for him, that and he can recreate his form that he's currently on, yeah.
There's been saying Bellingham and Rice. That 200 million won't get both of them.
No,
we wouldn't get both of them with 200 million.
Someone has to be sacrificed for that. Free. I'm saying that it's 200 million. It's 200 million.
Offer 100. They wanted when they was offering for him. West Ham said they wanted 150 million.
Yeah. No, I think they wanted to put him on a 6-year contract. It was an 8-year contract.
8-year contract. They wanted to offer.
They wanted to put him, which is ridiculous. But I think it's one of those where it's either they will risk losing him, and can he go for a free? I don't think he can't go for it. He'll have to go tribunal, won't he? Because he's gone through the system with West Ham. So will West Ham gamble and go for a nominal fee, which is going to be decided by a panel, or are they going to say, right, we're going to try and take as much money as we possibly can? They're never going to get 150 million. They've got to be realistic in the fact of, look, 100 million, 150 million for Declan Rice is way over market price. But if they get 80 million or some sort of package, 80, 90 million, maybe it's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
Just thinking. Well, if Man City is willing to pay 100 million for Jack Grealish,
That's what I'm
Why
saying.
can't they get 120 million or so for Declan Rice?
So how much did Man City play for? Was it Calvin Phillips? I know he hasn't been able to play because he's been injured. Was that a lot of money? I can't remember how much money they played for.
I think
for
something
Calvin
like
Phillips.
60 million. It's got to be 60 million.
Okay.
Yeah. It's about about 60 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but like I said, back into the real world. Just want some clarity, man, because it's like I don't like my club being on all over the TV with all this uncertainty going around. I just want us to kind of play tomorrow, get through to the next round of the cup, play our last game on Saturday, and finish the first half of the season on a positive on the field at least.
Okay, so we have got upcoming is Derby County, and obviously with Derby being at Derby County, we've read what's going on already, and that they will be playing like Kelleher will be starting in goal. Some other people will be getting some starting time. I expect Ox to get a good bit of game time as well. A few others, so a good chance to rest some of the other boys.
Yeah.
And play some of the other guys and give them some game time as well. So definitely, I reckon Curtis Jones will get a start. Carvalho will probably get a start.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't even know what's his name? Bavetic might even get a start as well, which I would love to see.
Yeah. It's true.
About the boys, so yeah, that'd be really even Nat Phillips.
Calvin Ramsey should get a start.
Yep.
Bobby Clark's probably going to be in there as well.
Yep.
Probably can get a little run out, and that young guy
Tyler Morton there as well. Morton, yeah.
Stefan Jabakcic should get a little run out in midfield for us as well. So you're right. We'll
that'll be good, man. It'll be good.
Yeah. I'll be quite looking if they named I think they're going to name quite a young and refreshed side, and I'm actually quite looking forward to it. Result aside, we want to win, but ultimately, we want these players. I want to see these players because we see them on online under 23s playing for the under 23s, etc. But when they're playing first team, are we at home, aren't we as well?
Yeah.
On tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we're at home. We're at home in front of our own crowd, and if we can get those youngsters in there because they're good enough, let's have a look at them.
Okay, so gentlemen, before we go, we are just going to say that we will be back on Thursday. Get a bit of reaction.
Ooh, what's he done there? Ooh.
We will be back on Thursday, our normal spot, 10 o'clock. Do you remember, peoples? Do like and subscribe and share. We will be talking about the Derby match. And if there's been any updates on the Liverpool sale. And then, what I was going to say before we left, that's right. So, I want a win against Derby, and then we got one more game, which is against Southampton. I want to win from that too.
Absolutely.
Before we go. 100%.
And then it's like, bring on the World Cup. Yes.
Yeah, and do be looking out for our World Cup show. We will be having a lot of fun with that. Our World Cup show, we'll be talking everything World Cup. We won't be focusing on one team. We're going to be talking everything World Cup, people. The quizzes and all that is going to be tremendous. We'll even have some prizes given out as well to other people taking part. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Trust
prizes?
Me. Yeah. Prince, you ain't going to wish. Prince, relax. Relax. Yeah.
I put my glasses on because I look more intelligent like that. Yeah, I'm going to research.
They say looks at the Steve. Never judge a book by the cover. Yeah, remember that.
Coming for Stoney's title.
So, gentlemen, thanks you very much. It's been a blast, been a pleasure. Great conversation as usual. So, Mr. Preds.
Hey, listen, it's always a pleasure. Never a chore with you guys.
Lovely jubbly. Stoney, my brother.
Thank you very much, sir. Just thank everybody from the panel. Thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and also just to remember to click on that notification bell as well, just to make sure you can tune into any of our future shows. And just an outgoing message from me before RT ends the show. Philip McDonald, please make sure you tune back into Thursday's show, and we will feature that small comment that you have about the future of Naby Keita. So don't forget to tune back in on Thursday, and we will touch on that note, sir. Okay?
Lovely. It's all about global mapping service as well. Big shouts to our sponsors. It's all about www.globalmappingsurveys.com. Remember, click on the link. You can also get a discount once you mention Cop Talk. All right. Good night. God bless. And thank you very much for having us, everyone.